afternoon and welcome to the Midday News for Friday, January 23. I'm Carrie Simpson. A special welcome to our viewers on YouTube, TVJ International in the Cayman Islands, and online at onespotmedia.com. Here's what we have in the bulletin.
Mother and daughter ambushed, one dead, the other hospitalized in serious condition. One of two government officials accused of drug trafficking denied bail. And later in sports, local stakeholders against enhanced games.
Now the details. Homicide detectives are investigating a deadly shooting that happened about 4:30 this morning in St. Andrew that left a woman dead and her mother hospitalized in serious condition. The deceased has been identified as 26-year-old Maya Ashley, an accountant of Appleton Avenue, Patrick City, Kingston 20. Her 49-year-old mother, a U.S. citizen, remains in hospital undergoing treatment. Now, investigators are probing allegations that gunmen were hired to carry out the attack. Reports indicate that Miss Ashley went to the Norman Manley International Airport to pick up her mother, who had arrived from the United States. On their return home along Appleton Avenue, gunmen reportedly opened fire on the vehicle. Miss Ashley, who was driving, attempted to escape but lost control after being shot multiple times. The vehicle crashed into a perimeter fence. Now, police responded and transported both women to hospital, where Miss Ashley was pronounced dead and her mother admitted in serious condition. Trayvon Clayton, the chief financial officer of the St. Ann Municipal Corporation, who is accused of drug trafficking, was denied bail on Wednesday when his case was mentioned before the St. James Parish Court. However, Latoya Hemmings, the senior managing accountant at the Trelawney Parish Court, who was charged jointly with him, was offered bail in the sum of $700,000. She was ordered to surrender her travel documents and report to the Duncan's police station weekly. The two are to return to court next week, Tuesday. Now, Clayton and Hemmings were arrested on January 16 at the Sangster International Airport after the narcotics police seized 22 pounds of cocaine in their possession. They were preparing to board a flight to the United States. Now, Mr. Clayton, who reportedly swallowed 82 pellets of cocaine, was released from hospital on Tuesday after receiving treatment. The cocaine has a street value of more than $40 million in the overseas market. Director of Public Prosecutions Claudette Thompson has reacted to the guilty verdict in the Noel Maitland murder trial. Anthony Atkinson has the details.
It was her first major high-profile case as Director of Public Prosecution. In her initial reaction to the verdict in the Noel Maitland case, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Claudette Thompson, said the matter was handled with care and professionalism. Speaking on the morning agenda on Power 106 FM on Friday, the DPP shared her reflections after having time to process the conclusion of the case.
As an office, we're pleased with the result. We think and we know the jury came back with the correct verdict. We are still sad at the fact that a mother has lost her daughter, but that is the job that we do.
She emphasized that while death is never a victory, the team carried out its duties and is satisfied with the outcome.
The case was investigated by both Indicom and the JCF. There were no less than 3 investigators in this case. The evidence led in court was that high-level meetings were held with regularity in this case. So there was a lot of focus and attention and resources.
Thompson also noted that the outcome would have been no different regardless of the accused profession, stressing that the justice system acted lawfully and without bias.
Where the JCF is concerned, they followed the evidence. It didn't matter that Mr. Maitland was a member of the JCF. They did their investigations. It led to his door. They followed it. They collected the evidence. They provided it to us. And we, the prosecutors, were able to present it to the court.
Noel Maitland is scheduled to be sentenced on March 13. Anthony Atkinson, TVJ News.
Now to a TVJ News follow-up. The long-awaited Negril roundabout is set to be completed by March. The project was stalled for months due to the unavailability of the tradesman. More in this report from Kimberly Petty.
Fallen utility poles, cracked roadways, overgrown shrubs, clear indications that work has been halted on the Negril roundabout project. But that's about to change. Work is expected to resume soon with the expectation that the US $20 million beautification project will be completed in about 2 months' time. TVJ News caught up with Chairman of the Negril Destination Council, Richard Wallace, following their first meeting since 2026.
So the roundabout was one of the issues that was raised. It is. You know, we admit that has been a long drawn out project that should have been done a long time ago. There have been several issues along the way.
The project was put on pause after the contractors ran into difficulty in finding a stone-skilled mason.
One of the issues that we were having was getting a stonemason to do the work based on the design. And we have one now that's doing a good job.
According to City and Guilds, a UK-based global organization providing vocational education, apprenticeships, and skills assessments for various trades and industries, stonemasonry refers to the construction of structures and building using stone as a medium. So now that they've secured a stonemason,
we are hoping that within the next month or two that we can complete that project.
Roundabout aside, he pointed to the issue of the bus stop project that began last year.
That has also been delayed and that has carried on for longer than we had hoped as well. But we're pushing forward on that and hoping to have that completed in the shortest possible time.
The project is spearheaded by TPDCO and is expected to breathe life into the town. Kimberly Petty for TVJ News.
Over in Clarendon, the authorities in Maypen are promising to fix the escalating traffic situation in the parish capital. The plan comes as the town continues to buckle under the increase in commercial activities. Details in this report from Dwayne Anderson.
Clarendon's capital Maypen is very recognizable, from its streets to its iconic clock. But the town has not changed much over the years, especially in terms of road infrastructure, parking areas, and social spaces. And while the infrastructure remained virtually the same, the population in communities in and around Maypen has exploded.
There's not even, I think, a inch of land left in and around the town space, and you're talking from Palmer's Cross to Jacob Hut. People are, construction is taking place. The amount of new housing development that are taking place, as far as Old Harbour, because many of those persons would have do their business in and around the town of Maypen. So the traffic into the town is now unbearable.
The mayor of Maypen says he has not been sitting on his hands. Along with the other authorities, a study was ordered to assess the problem and find a solution.
We'd have already done a traffic survey in several areas of the town. The recent one was done last year. One was done before. And a recent one was done last year by the national, well, we were helped by the National Works Agency. And we're looking at how we can reconfigure the town. We are looking at how we can turn some of the two ways into one ways.
Additionally,
we're looking at some traffic signals that will help us to regulate the traffic. And we're looking at, as I said before, how we can develop one or two more municipal parks around the town center that will enable us to take the bulk of the traffic out of the center of the town. So that we will be able to have more freedom. Pedestrian will have more freedom to do their business in the town center.
Days ago, motorists, including taxi operators, complained about the congestion in the parish capital and called for a fix. They say a lack of parking space for people doing business, as well as damaged roads, were among the contributing factors. Dwayne Anderson, TVJ News.
The National Works Agency, NWA, says the roadway from Brownstown to Alexandria in St. Anne near Top Road will be closed starting 7 p.m. on Saturday, that's tomorrow, to facilitate pavement repairs. The closure will be in effect for 3 weeks with single-lane access maintained for large vehicles. NWA Communication Officer Natalie Bloomfield says the work includes the replacement of National Water Commission pipes and the installation of concrete pavement as part of an ongoing road rehabilitation project valued at $47.3 million. Now, motorists traveling toward Alexandria should use St. Hilda's Drive and York Castle Drive, while those heading to Brownstown should use North Street or Court Street onto Bottom Road. The NWA reasoned that the alternative routes cannot accommodate large units. 15 people have been killed in 10 fatal crashes since the start of the year. That's according to data released today by the Island Traffic Authority. It says this represents a 32% decrease compared with the same period last year. Now, 7 private motor vehicle passengers and 4 private motor vehicle drivers have died in road crashes so far this year, while 2 pedestrians have been killed this month. It also reports that St. Elizabeth has recorded the highest number of fatalities since the start of the year. A total of 374 road fatalities were recorded island-wide last year. And to end the local segment on a light note, residents of St. Thomas are welcoming long-awaited improvements at the Rudolph Elderly Park, which is now undergoing renovation. The project is being carried out by the St. Thomas Municipal Corporation and is aimed at creating a safer and more comfortable space for senior citizens. Here's Yannick Williams.
For years, the Rudolph Elderly Park in St. Thomas has served as a gathering space for senior citizens in the community. However, aging infrastructure and the limited amenities had left the facility in need of urgent attention. That attention is now being delivered as renovation gets underway.
We are here today to do our final site visit and agree on all the features that should form part of the newly redeveloped Rudolph Elder Park right here in Morant Bay. Some of the features that will be included in this park include a jogging trail, a concessionary area, and a newly redeveloped bathroom. And basically, it would be our version of the Emancipation Park in Kingston.
The rehabilitation project will also incorporate upgrades to the historic board, symbols, and statues while introducing accessibility enhancements to better accommodate elderly users.
So in this redevelopment activity, we'll ensure that all stakeholders are considered. So we're talking about the disabled community. We'll ensure that there's wheelchair access to and from the park and even to access features within that space as well.
The project is part of a wider thrust by the Municipal Corporation to upgrade community spaces across the parish, particularly those that serve vulnerable groups.
This project will be financed by the Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructure Development. The expectation is that it should go to tender before the closeout of this financial year.
Once completed, the refurbished Rudolph Elderly Park is expected to provide a renewed sense of pride and comfort for senior citizens in St. Thomas. Yannick Williams, TVJ News.
And it's time for a break, but stay with us. The Business Minute and news from around the world when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. It's now time for the Business Minute.
The Bank of Jamaica will be intervening in the foreign exchange market with another $20 million this morning after intervening with the same amount yesterday. The bank is also once again instructing authorized foreign exchange dealers and cambios to sell the money purchased to businesses which want to pay for capital and intermediate goods as well as raw materials and essential services. The central bank also stressed that the dealers and the cambios must not sell the US dollar for more than 20 cents above the price at which it sold them. And further afield, several airlines are allowing passengers to rebook or cancel flights ahead of this weekend's winter storm prediction for more than half the country. United, Delta, American, and Southwest Airlines all released travel advisories. They're offering options for customers to change plans if they were scheduled to travel over the next few days. The carriers are also waiving rebooking fees as long as the rescheduled travel takes place within a specific amount of days. Meanwhile, Delta late Thursday proactively canceled some flights across 5 states. Delta said passengers who had flights out of some airports in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Tennessee have been rebooked. The wintry weather is expected to begin Friday. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Aaliyah Bryant.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, Guyana has signed a concessional agreement with Japan to upgrade water treatment infrastructure in Diamond on the east bank of Demerara. Foreign Affairs Minister Hugh Todd and the Japanese ambassador signed the deal, marking a milestone in decades of cooperation. Officials say the project will improve access to safe water, support a growing community, and enhance quality of life. And on the international scene, a massive, menacing storm is set to slam more than half the United States with potentially historic snow and ice. Dangerous conditions are already unfolding as the system develops Friday in the plains where moist air collides with Arctic cold. Major northeast cities, including New York, could see their heaviest snowfall in years, while the south braces for destructive ice, power outages, hazardous roads, and widespread travel disruptions. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Aaliyah Bryant.
Alia, we now head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.